There you go.
Welcome, everyone. Today is Saturday, February 19th, 2021, and this is the Black Voices Matter Poetry Slam coming to you live from Denver, Colorado. My name is Susie Q. Smith, and I will be your MC for the evening. Today's event is sponsored by CoLab Apartment Homes. CoLab is off-campus student housing with brand new campus adjacent to Denver student apartments. CoLab is affordable, stylish urban housing that provides a home away from home. CoLab will be providing the winners of today's Poetry Slam with Beats headphones, as well as a $100 Visa gift card to the third place winner. And also it's brought to you today by the Center for Identity and Inclusion Black Student Services, and they will be providing an e-gift card for the first place winner in the amount of $300. So please give a round of applause to CoLab and to the Center for Identity and Inclusion Black Student Services. And thank you for supporting Black voices, because Black voices matter all day, every day. And I'm so glad to celebrate them with you here. So a little history on Poetry Slam. While poetry and oral storytelling are as old as humanity, the specific practice of Poetry Slam as a competition was invented in the 1980s to draw attention to the art of performance poetry. So the contest is judged by some members who I'm going to introduce to you briefly. And the poets are going to have just a limited time to present their work. You'll hear from a few different poets today. And then the judges are going to score those pieces, right? And they'll be giving some feedback in a spreadsheet that just me and the judges are going to see. So you guys don't need to worry about that. And so we'll be looking at things like performance, content, originality, style, etc., right? And so normally we would ask the judges, because we're in a virtual environment, it's a little different. Sometimes we have a live audience that can actively try to sway the judges. Of course, judges, I want you to not be swayed by the judges, and I want you to stay consistent with yourselves. We've already talked about this, so I know that you can do that. But again, keep in mind that we're going to be exuberant, we're going to be joyful, we're going to feel all types of feelings in this Poetry Slam environment. So please feel free to do what you need to do to take care of yourself as you're listening, as you're watching tonight. If you need to turn your camera off for a moment, drink water, take a bio break, do the things that you need to do. Please feel free to do that. Please don't bounce in the middle of somebody's poem, unless, of course, you need to take care of yourself because you're crying a lot. And sometimes crying happens in a poetry slam. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We're going to feel feelings together, and we might deal with all kinds of subjects. So again, please do whatever you need to do, but please do so just quietly and respectfully to whoever's on the mic when you do that. So now I'm very excited to introduce you to our judges right now. So Denicia Heron was born in Texas and raised in Colorado. She is an admissions counselor at CU Denver. As a first-generation student, she has a bachelor's degree in sociology and master's in public administration, both from CU Denver. Denicia currently serves as the chair of CU Denver's Black Faculty and Staff Affinity Group. Janae Hurt is Denver born and raised, Park Hill stand up. She has been at CU Denver for over 17 years, and she is rooting for everybody Black. So please give a round of applause to our judges for being here today. I am so excited. And now I get to introduce you to our poets for the day. So our poets that you will hear from in our first round are Athalia McLean, Natalia Walton, Confidence Omanai, and Adrian DeBarros, in that order. So that is going to be the order for the poets in this first round of our poetry slam. Of course, we don't like to begin a poetry slam without a proper sacrifice, right? So we often call it blood being spilled upon a stage, right? And so because we don't have a calibration for today, I have volunteered to calibrate this, right? So judges, feel free to give me feedback the same way you would give it to the other poets. And keep in mind, this is your calibration for the evening. So I will read to you a short poem of mine, which is called Dark Humor. I like to think of this poem as an invocation. You know how my hips have never forgotten the drum. You know the way my voice sounds like a conjured grandmother. You know how I write poems like invocations, right? You know how my spirit never sleeps, how we laugh at our own temporary blood. And oh, sweet Lord, how we laugh, how buckets of glass leap from our heads thrown back and open, how we spill sharp, choking out the swallowed stingers, how we dance until our feet blister and open, knowing the stains will tell the story of our movement. We, super magic, we, beloved immortal, even our echoes got knuckles. Listen. In the canyons, over the ocean crashing, our ancestors stay chanting, we in here, we still here, we've been here, we stay here, we survived, we survived, we survived. By Susie Q. Smith. So judges, this would be the moment in which I would have you record your thoughts, record your notes in our secret handy dandy spreadsheet where you have those notes. And now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first poet in the Black Voices Matter Poetry Slam, coming to you live from Denver, Colorado. Give it up for Athalia!
Hi. My poem is basically about just me. Like, I personally have a physical disability, and I wrote a poem about being a Black girl with a disability. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. It kind of froze for a second, that's why. um, in class, I feel alone. In school, at home, I have a disability that does not define me, but when I start to kind of feel like an outsider, like a burden, unintentionally being an obstacle in someone's way, I turn to my right and I spot a kid that sticks out like a sore thumb, but still hides in plain sight. Invisible, but yet still shining under the spotlight, like me. But believe me, my earlier days were harder. Watching all the other kids play in places that you can't reach, so you simply just burn under the sun. Feel the cold breeze while the other kids are having so much pure, joyful fun that they don't mind what the sky sets free. There were times when they wouldn't want to talk to me or play with me or hang out with me, so they would just speed up their walk and louden their talk and not let their eyes go lower than they needed to see me, and run and hide in places that I just simply couldn't be. My strength, my brown melanin, and the texture of my hair puts me in a box of my own little square. And sometimes I feel so unheard that I just want to swear. And sometimes I feel so picked on that I can't continue to care. My independence is surpassing, my mindset is very rare. To this world, it's impossible to think I'm just a regular kid sitting in a wheelchair. But pick yourself up, you beautiful little Black girl, and push through. God's got you. Your purpose is to change and make a difference in this world. It will not be easy, and it will surely be cold, but you'll still be thanking the same person down the road. Thank you.
Everybody give it up for Athalia. With that line said, and sometimes I just feel so much, I just want to swear. I feel like that could just be on a poster, on t-shirts. I think that every single person can relate to that line so much of just like that frustration. That was a beautiful, beautiful poem. And I'm so glad that I got to hear you read it. Thank you so much. And one more round of applause. And if you're not muted right now, we can start making some noise together. We can do it like this. Actual sounds for you. I'm so excited. And I know the judges are deliberating. They're going to give you some feedback, and I'm going to share that with you in just a moment.
Can I share the line I liked? I absolutely love the line about them having joy in places that you can't reach. And I didn't read it exactly, but that sticks out for me. I know a lot of little girls that can relate to that on a bunch of different levels, watching people have fun in places that you can't reach. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I related to the line where you said they would speed up their walk, leaving you behind, because I experienced that as a younger kid, at one phase where I had a bully walking to school and things like that, and people, I don't know, but that I really resonated with that when you're like this. But yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I really felt the part about being in the classroom and feeling alone. I know even at CU Denver, I feel alone a lot of the times. And I have a TBI, so My computer has to read everything to me. I can't really see out of my left eye. I'm not relating to your disability, but I'm relating to your words. I feel like I'm alone in the classroom with my disability as well. So that was very moving and profound.
Thank you.
I just want to hug all of you. This is a beautiful love fest. Like they say, Poetry Slam's a competition, but that's not how we're doing it today. We are giving up affirmations for each other, and I love that. And also, I forgot to mention, I too am a graduate of CU Denver. What? Yeah.
Yay, alumni!
Oh, oh,
Woo!
I also live with a brain illness. What? What? Oh, my goodness.
Hello, hello.
Finding all these things in common with each other. This is, so that's a beautiful piece. Thank you for bringing us together. That's a wonderful way to kick us off. And I'm so glad that we did. Are y'all ready to get into our second poem in this here poetry slam? Give it up for Natalia.
It's not letting me get to the screen that I need to be on. Okay. This poem is called Extinct. You can fuck with the streets, taste the pavement, grind at the liquor store, bathe in the street lamps. You can fuck with the streets, calling folks niggas, repping your crew, busting rhymes on a corner, fighting over red and blue. You can fuck with the streets, doggy styling your jeans on your ankles, cornrows and dreadlocks, calling females bitches and hoes, never showing any feeling, not till that blunt hits your lips and the gin bottle is empty, cause you can fuck with the streets. Hating all you know because you know nothing, embracing food stamps and Medicaid, buying the latest shoes, getting your nails did by someone that doesn't speak English, indulge in the trash and the frustration, daily grinds and blindfolds. Did you know your mama's a crack hoe? Devastated that the first of the month is gone by. Your rent is too high. Don't give a fuck and do what you must. Play basketball behind chain link fences, hide behind shadows of emptiness, smile when you broke, choke when you win, because it won't happen again. Scream at the top of your lungs that black is beautiful. You can fuck with the streets. You have no choice. There is no escape. We're becoming extinct.
Whew, that poem was crisp, precise. I want to say the precision. It feels like, like one of my more recent projects has been writing American sonnets. And it felt very much like in that language where everything is like crisp, clean, right? There's not a lot of wasted words, right? Every single word is working, every single line, every single syllable. So I think that I enjoyed that poem. Normally, I wouldn't say this much as the MC of a slam, but because we're doing non-traditional feedback, I'm like, let's go ahead and get into it. I enjoyed that poem very much, and also some very, very creative rhymes in there as well that I heard that you had did right there, and very, very excellent imagery because some of us are familiar with a street or two. So I just was going to mention. So, judges, I will ask that you offer your feedback in the spreadsheet. And Denisha, I see your note. I'm trying to fix it. I think that we might just be working in different emails, but we're going to figure it out. If you, we'll figure it out. I'm going to type back to you in 1 second. So, um, in the meantime, I see you writing and taking your own notes because I know that's how it is. Some of you, you might not know, but I've known Denisha for a very long time. We used to work together at a civil rights organization when we were children almost. and now we are grown. Very different fields, but still in here doing this work and loving Black folks. So we've been doing this a little while. So now we are going to get into the next poet in this round. Are you feeling strong and ready for our third poet in the first round of the Black Voices Matter Poetry Slam? I'm so excited to welcome up our third poet, Confidence Omanai.
I'm cracking up. I didn't realize it was me. I was like, who is it? Yes, let's go. Okay. I am just reading what I feel like reading today. I have been sorting through a manuscript, and some things I chose not to put in this book, but I still want to read them. So I'm gonna lead with a poem I wrote called Fallen Idol. You ever visit the altar of a god you once worshipped? Similar to visiting your childhood home decades later, the paint is chipped. There are bars on the window barring the exits. No one made it out alive. No one inside is safe. Everything trembles at your gate. Walking dead girl risen, pass through the narrow hallways. You larger than the life they planned. Ceilings were always this low. Hard to tell, bent back then. Standing tall now, holographic and haunting, last tomb on the left holds no horror. Roll the stone away. Reveal moth-eaten grave clothes, musty scent of decay, room I once died in, crypt I clawed out of. The last time I saw the God I used to worship, his paint was chipping. Not enough salvation to raise a fruit fly, foundation exposed. Termite kingdom on his tongue, musty scent of decay. He a house I once died in, abandoned, condemned, worshiping himself.
Why do I keep forgetting that I have to unmute and say so? I'm like, wait a minute now. Let's run that all the way back. There were some lines in there that I was making note of. You said not enough salvation to raise a fruit fly. Was that the line?
Yes.
His paint sounds chipped. It sounds like chipped. Might be some bars on them windows over there. Whew, okay. I'm gonna ask the judges if you would please take a moment to record your notes in the spreadsheet or here in the chat for me so that I can put them in the spreadsheet. And again, and poets, of course, you are welcome to affirm each other in the chat as well. The chat is open and live. If you are moved, if you want to share something with each other, please do. I hope you will. Big each other up, because, you know, we all know that in many situations, we all we got. We better have each other's back all the time. So we move each other, and it brings me great joy. So thank you so much for that poem, Confidence. Give it up one more time for Confidence. Showing your love. And are you ready for our final reader in this first round? Give it up for Adrian de Barros.
All right. Thank you. This is going to be first one's going to be a little bit entertainment value for y'all. So hopefully no one's laughing too hard or hurt your tummy. All right. This one's called The Secret Life of Miss Two Shoes. Dances in two shoes, glances with blue hues, advances from shoed woos. She smart. She watch Blue's Clues. Prada shoes, gotta do what's new, innovative devil in blue, and becoming something new. High heels making sly reels, once alone, and with the rocky tone, she won an Oscar with Stallone. Back in her day, X didn't stand for xylophone. She battled DMX and made beats with the vibraphone. Her dates consisted of putting on Maybelline, lotion with Vaseline, then letting him pump the gasoline. Waiting for the climax, waiting for the climax that would jump off like a trampoline. One day she let out a valiant scream. It was the first day in ages she heard a truck signaling for ice cream. She met a dude, he did all the talking, he let her chew. How rude. Didn't let her speak, she had no break from salad dressing Greek. He was not meek, spoke about accomplished feats, climbed rhombus peaks. But when it came for time for Miss Two Shoes to peek, he couldn't get to a peak. Nothing to come to mind with nothing to climb. So she was unable to peak. That's it.
Thank you for bringing in some humor. It said jumping off like a trampoline right there. So, excellent work. Excellent work. Thank you. Thank you ever so much. And now you have been properly introduced to all of our poets. So I'm very, very excited. And I know that we have some people who are going to be watching this a little bit later. I hope that you're enjoying this show. A lot of these poems are timeless. We have some humor. We have some rage. We have some joy. We have some tenderness. All of those things are going to show up, and I'm so here for it. And Black History Month is full of all of those because Black history is full of all of those range of emotions, right? We are complete beings and we are not one note. So I'm excited to hear all of these different voices celebrating right now and being celebrated right now. So thank you again. And thank you again one more time to our judges, Janae and Denisha. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you here and to have your affirmations. I'm seeing them come through and it makes me really happy to know that I get to share those with the poets later. So I'm very excited about that. I'm also just want to really quickly once more thank our sponsors. So thank you again to CII, to CoLab Apartment Homes, and to the Center for Identity and Inclusion Black Student Services. I'm trying to like get out of the habit of speaking in acronyms, right? I also work in academia, and so sometimes we will be speaking in acronyms and no one knows what's us. So I was about to say the CII, but that means the Center for Identity and Inclusion. And there we are. I'm going to say it out loud. So there we have it, right? Because this is going to be open to a wide audience of people watching this later. So I hope that you are all enjoying this at home, wherever you are. And I thank you all once again for sharing these beautiful poems. So are you guys ready to get into our next round of these poems? And so in this order, we will be hearing from our poets today. In the second round, I'm going to post this order in the chat for the poets so you are ready and you know which order is yours. So our first poet in this second round is going to be Natalia. Our second poet is going to be Confidence, and our third poet is going to be Adrian. How did Adrian luck out and get second? Oh, I know how, because we had to pull that order. So you get to close 2 rounds in a row. What? That's, random.org chose you. That's how it happens. So there we go with this list generator. And now, without further ado, we are going to kick off our second round. Please welcome back to this mic, Natalia.
Thank you. This one is kind of personal. It's called Dirty Dishwater. So I'm raising someone else's children and their shitty diapers across my backyard, cries for their mother in their sleep, and I resent my sister for taking everything away from me. Moments with him in the park, light, and they are so airy. I'm so happy there with him in our bubble, till I feel like he's a junkie and I'm hiding his habit in my mint box. Kisses and fingertips from my ex. He never stopped loving me. Moments lying next to him and I wanted to vomit. No longer respecting what was, because I realized that premeditated murder leaned over my head for 13 years. Foolish thoughts that I could be his missus when a Mexican named Jorge wants to marry me. But he's a good guy and they always finish last. Because I long for, no, I yearn for, no. I'm in love with the crazy man next door. He is my Joker and I am his Dr. Quinn. Spectacular and erratic, impractical and seductively romantic. Blissful chaos in an empty room. The dishwasher is broken and there is shit on my shoe. I fell in love with a girl once. She loved me deep down inside. She died and I'm the only one that knew. pigtails and romantic lullabies turn into life's fucked up daily everydays. I masturbated the other day thinking about you. How can I be the other to a drug? The addiction is too deep, so I run, I run from space and time, but I'm going nowhere. I have 5 children and a grandchild on the way. I'm stuck washing dishes in my underwear. So here, I'm trapped in my mind, and that's where I'll stay.
Ooh, Natalia, give it up for Natalia. You said that image right there, stuck washing dishes in my underwear. Just like that is tells so many stories all by itself right there, and just showing like all of the different imagery that you gave us. And again, pulling no punches, everything being so clear, so crisp, right? And so much content there, right? So much story in every single image too. Was so deeply felt, right? And there was just like nothing, there was no playing around about it. It was just like, this is what it is right here. And also still so poetic in it, right? It was just like very, very candid, but also deeply, deeply poetic. Because everything, there was so much, like when I think about all the, that could be a metaphor for too. It's just like washing dishes in your underwear. Like, well, this is not what I expected. But here we are, and all the different things that occur, and also like how we survive, right? And also like that form of like self-care, community care, and doing dishes is both, right? You know what I mean? It's like, that's, I have a piece in which I say like that's one of the things that is a piece of advice, is just like, yes, you can be in all of these spaces of grief and still, wrap your head up and wash them dishes. You know what I mean? Like, it's still, this life is going to continue no matter how hard things are, right? So anyway, I deeply felt that poem. Thank you very, very much for sharing it with us. And also, I want to hear the affirmations in the chat that you guys have for each other. And I know that the judges are sharing theirs as well. So thank you ever so much for that. And happy Black History Month, everybody. Happy Black History Month every month, everybody. I hope that you are celebrating Black folks in your life, Black folks in your life, the Black folks in your line. I'm like sitting here with this. I got this portrait of Jimi Hendrix behind me every day. You must live like this. But if you don't, that's all right. Welcome, welcome. Learn some things about some Black folks in history, and celebrate. And so, without further ado, are you ready to hear from our second poet in the second round? Give it up for Confidence Almanai.
Thank you. Okay, another one. This is from a play called Seven Coffins that I wrote. There's a seed that learns to be its own sustenance, source of light, knows what will not nourish it, rejects poison apples, prunes the leaves that look too closely like the tree it fell from. You are not the tree you fell from, or the yard you landed in. What no plan to plant you anywhere safe, or bathed in sunshine no one ever meant to nourish you. Where you get them leaves, little brown girl? It's a wonder you grew at all those choking vines and weeds you wrestled for a patch of rocky soil, a drop of water, a place in the sun. How you magic scorched earth into a field of dreams ain't nothing short of a miracle. Where you get them branches, brown girl? You survived. They was expecting you to die down there in the dark in the box they built for you. A grave and a garden look alike to the untrained eye.
Will you just say that last line for me one more time? Just
A grave and a garden look alike to the untrained eye.
Yes.
thank you. I just wanted to hear that line one more time. Um, there was a lot happening in there, I mean, I put on eye makeup and everything. That was foolish, right? I should have known what I was coming to. I'm over here trying to just, I'm gonna keep my face together in one place, you know. And if it starts to melt, it starts to melt. We're all going to be each other's people by the end of this day. And
Yes.
so that's what that is. So if you see it all down here, then that's what it is. We should normalize crying. We can't normalize crying in a pandemic. Then when can we normalize crying? I'm just saying, let's get into it. So I might do a little touch of weeping, and several of you have already seen me do that before. It's not really even special anymore. Oh, but I might get into it. I do try to avoid getting mascara all down my face, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens during the rest of this show. So thank you very much for that beautiful, beautiful piece. And I really, really look forward to seeing that play be staged. And I'm glad to hear your voice. And I'm also excited to hear the voice of the next reader in the second round. Are you guys ready to close out this second round with the one and only Adrian DeBarro?
Yay.
All right, we got another humor one for you. Let's get it here. This one is called My Notebook. A pad and pen I packed again, writing a story amongst women and men. Flying to the beach, gotta finish before my hands become fins. A pad and pen I packed again, over the line, winning again. I'm riding in a trailer with them. The doc wrote a prescription. My game's ill, and yours is on the mend. I'm milling the mill until I'm meek. Oh, wait, I think I shouldn't speak. I'm trying to fry a male duck, but I'm out of luck. This Drake is not weak. We need to turn the other cheek. Nikki turns around and eclipses meek. Moon speak with 2 cheeks and 2 weeks stored in shoes keep. Now barefoot and now meek.
Wait a minute. I want to hear the part about how Nikki turned around and eclipsed Meek with the moons. I said, wait a minute. Adrian coming through with the wordplay today and also the storytelling at the same time. Will you say that line for me one more time?
Yep. We need to turn the other cheek. Nikki turns around and eclipses meek. Moon speak with 2 cheeks and 2 weeks stored in shoes keeps. Now barefoot and now meek.
The full circle, right? That's the circle of life is what happened right there.
Did you say this Drake is not weak?
Yeah.
And then all of it, right? All of the wordplay, right? It's clear that like that shows a dedication, not only to humor, but to the many, the double entendres, the puns, all of it in there. So excellent, excellent work. Give it up for Adrian. That is not easy to do. I'm always looking for good examples of words with double meanings and showing double entendre because it's so important in hip hop. And I'm always looking for things like that to show students, especially. And so I like this is why it's really important to understand the words that you use, how you use them, what they mean, what else they can mean, all of the different things that they can do, because a single word can carry so much weight. And you just demonstrated that, right? And it can still be fun, right? It can still be funny. We can still laugh. And that is so important, right? Laughter is good medicine. So I appreciate you sharing it with us today. Judges, I will wait for you to I'll give you a second to gather your thoughts and share them here. And in the meantime, I'm going to share our final round order. We are getting right through this, right? So we have a final round. We might have time for a lightning round at the very, very end. We might have time for just a quick lightning round. So I'll explain how that's going to go after we finish our third round, though. So our third round is going to include 3 poets. Those 3 poets in this order will be going first, Confidence Omanai. Going second, Adrian DeBarros. Going third, Natalia Walton. So that is our order for this third round. And Athalia, if you would like to join in the lightning round, we would love to have you. So you just let me know in the chat what you would like to do. No pressure, but we'd love to have you. It's going to be improv freestyling. So no one is prepared. So if you don't feel ready, perfect. No one is. So we are going to make it up as we go. I love it. because we're creative human beings and we can do it. It's going to be fire. So, are you ready for this third round? To get started, get on and popping. Thank you again to CoLab. Thank you again for the Center for Inclusion and Identity for celebrating Black voices. I'm Susie Q. Smith. I'm happy to be your host, and I'm happy to bring up our first reader in the third round. Give it up for Confidence.
Thank you. All right, y'all, last poem. I'm going to read this excerpt from a play I wrote called Poems Pay for Passports. And this poem is called Siren Song. I am awake and afraid on all the days of the week. I imagine perilous traffic stops, pointless pleas for police to police themselves. Pray the school doesn't call. Pray the police don't arrive before me. Schoolyard fight is a prison pipeline invitation. Zero tolerance lands harder on the backs of brown girls. Wish I hadn't taught them to fight all the time. I'm so glad I taught them to fight. The light above our license plate is out. It is 3 a.m. He is leaving for work. He must drive through the whitest part of town. He says the bulb is in the glove compartment. I screech as if I am widow, open casket, as if they already pulled him over, tell him not to drive. He says it will be fine. I am awash with visions, red lights, blue lights, sirens, toe tags, hashtags, muted hysteria, silent and flailing inside. I say he is careless, irresponsible, cavalier. He says he is unafraid, leaves for work. I am a sea of prayers and flickering flames. I tick and tock for 8 hours, hold my breath. Thank you.
Left us right at that cliffhanger right there, too, right? So, I believe those poems will pay for passports. Confidence, I believe that they will. So, give it up for Confidence one more time. And please feel free to share your affirmations in the chat for each other. I love hearing from all of you. Brings me a great deal of joy. So thank you for that beautiful poem. Of course, I know a lot of that story. There's so much richness in there. And it's very, very powerful, important, compelling. And so I encourage you all to look each other up, look these poets up, support their work. Many of them are multimedia artists, right? So keep an eye on them, follow them on social media. For all of our performers today, if you would like to share your social media tags in the chat, I'm happy to shout those out at the end of our show. So please do that. If anyone wants to check you out later, because we don't know, somebody might be watching this later on in their kitchen on a Thursday evening, feeling all alone, and then they hear your poems and you snatch their spirit and they say, I got to find you. So make sure that they know how to find you, and I want to make that as easy as possible. And now, our second reader in our third round, give it up for Adrian.
All right, this one's actually a little serious here. This little backstory. I woke up at 2 a.m. Something had triggered me. Something personal had happened to me, and this is what I wrote at 2 a.m. And then I was able to get back to sleep after excreting this, if you will. This one's called Hero Inside Out. The oppressed right while defending themselves against those who want to wrong their rights. After some time, and after the scoreboard has been tallied, who's really righting the wrongs? Is it the person who can point the finger the quickest, or is it the one who's pointing towards the keyboard one stroke at a time, one key at a time, with the delete key here and there, cleaning up the typos? Oh, how easy it would be if humanity could be corrected in the same way. Something special inside. Think it's best I not hide. Getting vulnerable, getting naked, coming out of my hide. And this is why I've made a decision to do more than try. Ready to inspire the world? It's time to sow the seeds of my why.
Hey, time to sow the seeds of my why. I love that closing. That was beautiful. I was like, okay, that stream of consciousness. I loved all the layers to it, right? And also, yeah, all the context of it, right, was just so clear to grapple with it. I could feel the anger in it and the questioning and the confusion and the resolve, like all of it, right? You gave us a whole narrative in there. Beautiful work, Adrian. All right, all right. So I'm excited. I'm excited. So judges, take a moment. I want you to write your comments in there. I'm loving seeing all of the judges' comments, and I can't wait to share them with all of our poets because they have some things to say for you. And I love that you all get loved up on. That brings me a great deal of joy because every single one of you deserves it. And now, our final poet in the third round. Are you ready to bring up the one and only Natalia Walton?
No. This last one is called Tinfoil Crown. It used to be shiny and elegant, my crown, masterfully crafted by God. Worn on my head, heavy to hold, I grew into the load. Wisdom, prestige, courage, and a remarkable woman helped me hold it on. It was phenomenal, no other like it. Titanium loops, diamonds, emeralds, and gold. They adorned the curves of its ledges. Rare jewels, my name permanently inside. But as it began to take blows and hits, it lost its gems. The metal degraded, the, the gems crushed to colored sand. I couldn't make out the spelling of my name. The N, it was replaced with a B. Then I couldn't even remember what it read in the first place. My name became baby mama. Sometimes it was bitch, hoe, fat so-and-so. When it was ran over by a truck, it no longer resembled a crown. The loops and elegance had disappeared. The shine was replaced with mud and filth, a wire frame, and all the glamour disintegrated. I fetched my crown. I fetched for it. Out of the gutter with my pride and my dignity. My identity remained there in the streets amongst the rats and the venom, the grim and the dirt. It's not even a tiara, a hat, or a bow anymore. But I found some tinfoil one day, wrapped in a sandwich, half eaten, pastrami on rye. I found that tinfoil and I unwrapped it. I smoothed out its edges. I wiped off the mustard and the mayo. I spit shined that foil until it sparkled. I wrapped that tinfoil around my mangled crown, pushed in the edges, smoothed out the missing diamonds. I wrapped that tinfoil around my damaged crown, and I wrote my name on the inside of it. Yes, my name. Not bitch, not whore, not baby mama, not dumb bitch. I wrote my name on the inside of that foil, and I put it on my head, and I stood up from the ground.
I loved that poem. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I love that reclamation and the affirmation. I love that you said it twice. Yes, my name, wrote my name on it. And how precious it is, right? Just like after everything that it went through and that extended metaphor all the way through with that crown and everything that it went through and all that it lost. And it's like, nah, this is still mine. And it's been through some things, but it's still mine and it's still precious and it's still value and I still own it. It still belongs to me and it's still beautiful and valuable. And oh, that was a whole word that you brought us into today. And I'm going to try to hold it together for a second because I want to think of what we're going to do for this lightning round. I want to take us through a lightning round. And what we're going to do during this lightning round, I'm going to have each of you freestyle a poem in 1 minute or less, which means you're not going to write it down. That's how long you're going to be talking, basically. You got like 1 minute to work your way through this little poem. Maybe two, but I feel like two might be, you might spend a lot of time working your way into it. I want you just to go. I'm gonna give you a couple of topics, maybe 3 words that I want you to work in. I'll take a brief moment for you to gather your thoughts after I give you the 3 words, right? And so the 3 words are Black reclamation, victory. So I'm going to type those here in the chat. Black reclamation and victory. Now, while our poets are thinking, I'm going to tell you what this next order is going to be. Now, I know the confidence has not gotten to go last this whole time. So I think that is probably not fair. And I think that probably Adrian got to go last twice. That means he's going to go first this time around. I think this is our order. This is what feels. I'm not using random this time. I'm using my intuition and instinct and sense of justice. That's what I'm using. So our order is going to be Adrian's up first, then Natalia, then Athalia, then Confidence. Yeah. So that is our. If you're in it, Athalia, I just don't know if you want it to be. I put you in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done it like this before.
It's going to be fun for all of us. I'm going to give you all a second to gather your thoughts. Here's what I'm going to do. In honor of Black History Month, in honor of Audre Lorde, because her birthday was a couple of days ago, I'll read to you a poem by Audre Lorde while the poets are all thinking, gathering their thoughts on Black reclamation and victory, putting together a quick poem for this lightning round. And while you're thinking, I'm going to read you all this poem from Audre Lorde, which is called A Litany for Survival. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone, for those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways coming and going, in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward, at once before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear, like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hope to silence us, for all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. And that is Audre Lorde, A Litany for Survival. If you don't know that poem, look that one up on these here internet streets. It's easy to find. And all of her work, highly, highly recommend knowing like you know your own body. And now, without further poetry, I'm going to introduce our lightning round. I'm going to go ahead and get my little timer out. I'm going to get the phone, the little stopwatch. Oh, the stopwatch. It's happening. So I'm going to say 2 minutes stopwatch, and then you're going to get interrupted with the timer, but you don't have to use the full 2 minutes. So here we are, kicking off our lightning round. Well, I'm gonna keep it cold. I said 1 minute. I'm keeping it cold. 1 minute. Adrian, give it up for Adrian DeBarros.
And then we get Do we get a minute to write, or we're now
You're going now. That was your time.
okay?
1 minute begins now.
All right, this one I'm gonna call "Coming into a Land." Coming to a land where people escaping their so-called persecution, how they bend iron and steel, paired with hard work and lacing up the mule, ironically pushing and pulling the indigenous at an attempt to call their land their own. From Plymouth to the eastern shores of the Atlantic, they call this justification from the land they came from across the pond. How dare they tell us their persecution was worse than the ones they imposed on others? Don't you dare treat someone worse from where you came from. We're
And
all
that,
in this.
that was your minute. Oh, but you got there. You got there. Look, the lightning round isn't a game. Oh, but I see what you did there, right? And you brought in a little bit of 40 acres and a mule in there too, right? And I think it was happening. I see what you did there. Everybody give it up for Adrian. Give it up for Adrian. And now, in our lightning round, give it up, keep it going for Natalia.
I'm going to call this Black Girl Shine. I'm a Black girl. Yes, that's me. I'm Black, even though I'm faking a smile. Why does my victory only lie in my hips and my thighs? Realize that I am educated at CU Denver and amongst dynamic, phenomenal, enormous other Black girls. We share like skin, we have the same brilliance. I'm a Black girl getting educated as my form of reacclimation.
And you did that with some time to spare. Look at that. I mean, it's quick. A minute is not very long, but you still had 10 seconds left. And you did that. Give it up for Natalia. And now, for the first time ever in a lightning round, give it up for our first poet from the first round. We haven't heard from her for a second, but we're going to hear from her now. And I'm so excited. Everybody give it up for Athalia. You're muted still. So I won't start it yet.
Thank you. Okay, I guess I'll just do it. I'm Black. Black lives matter. Black is beautiful. We have Black magic. We're special, unique, beautiful. Words have been taken that we can only reclaim. Yes, that's my word, not yours, that's mine. And it belongs to me and my brethrens. And there are only victories. There are victories that are only so big that Black people are so strong and so, never mind, I lost my train of thought. That we're so strong and proud of and work so hard for that only we can claim as our victory. There we go.
Yes. See, I love it. I love it. We got to hear that, the creative process, right? That's what the lightning round is for. We get to hear everybody's creative process and like watch you in the practice of creating a new poem. And that was absolutely beautiful. You did that. You did that. Give it up one more time for Athalia. And now closing out our lightning round. Keep that applause going for Confidence.
Born of Black girl magic and sorcery, every breath I take is answered prayer. I've been this Black, this bold. Every victory is a stomped shackle. Every victory, reclamation. Every breath is reclamation. Every no is a victory. It's enough. You said I could stop.
I thought I was saying yes in affirmation, but I thought you were still going. You still had a few seconds left, so that's all right.
I was like, going over to
No, that was excellent.
short and sweet. We survived it.
That was an absolutely beautiful piece. All of you, thank you for being willing to participate in the lightning round, getting put on the spot like that, and just like make up a poem right quick. Because that's also part of the life of a poet, right? As you know, once people realize that you write poems, then everywhere you go, people be like, do a poem real quick. And you're like, but I'm at a barbecue. And
Just the repast.
you know, I'm like, I don't feel like I don't have anything for this right now. I was not prepared. I got meat in my teeth right now. You know, I'm trying to just sit down and eat this plate like everybody else. But sometimes you get put on the spot and people want you to do a poem real quick. So I'm glad that you did a poem real quick. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be your MC for the evening. I have been Susie Q. Smith, honored and grateful to be here to celebrate Black Voices with you. This is Black Voices Matter, the Poetry Slam. Thank you again for the University of Colorado at Denver for bringing us together, for the Center for Inclusion and Identity for bringing us together. Thank you again for your sponsorship, Collab Housing. We appreciate that. And our poets are going to be so fly in their Beats headphones, in their gift cards. We do have your contact information, so Natalia will be in touch with you later on how to get all of those things distributed. We're going to figure that part out. Thank you for being flexible. Thank you for being expressive. Thank you for being creative. And thank you for being here with us and celebrating Black History Month. Thank you especially to our judges for taking the time out of your Saturday evening to be here tonight. Janae Hurt, give it up for Janae. One more time. Denisha Hera, thank you again for being here with us tonight. I wanted to put you on the spot, but I didn't. I'm proud of myself because I was like, hey, sing Lift Every Voice right quick. Because but I didn't, and I held back, and I'm proud of myself because I showed some restraint. But if you didn't know, you can follow up with Denisha at another time because she can sing, and sometimes people don't know that about her. So just so you know, you need somebody to come through and sing the Black National Anthem. She's got you. I'm signing her up. So that's happening. If you want to find these poets, you can follow them all on social media. I'm going to scroll on up. So you can find Natalia at Natalia Walton hyphen Satchel, Satchell, 2 L's. So that's where you can find Natalia. You can find Adrian at Adrian DeBarros, one word, on all platforms, I believe. Yes, is that true? Okay. You can find Confidence at Confidence Omanai on Facebook, at Only Confidence. That is the truth. Yes. Okay. At onlyconfi.com and also on Instagram, on Twitter, etc. at onlyconfi. So, and then you can find Natalia at atalia.xo, at athalia.xo. I apologize, Athalia. I'm trying to scroll through these comments and I'm making mistakes. So, Athalia at athalia.xo. Is that on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, on all the things?
It's just Instagram.
Just Instagram. Okay, that's a smart choice. That's a smart choice. Just be on Instagram, you know? And you can find yours truly on all of these internet streets. I'm even trying to show up in TikTok now. Look, I'm just
YouTube.
I mean, you know, I made one hilarious video and then I didn't look at it again. So that is where I am. But also,
Same here.
you know, I'm an old person, but I'm around a lot of young people. So I need to be able to speak their languages. So you can find me across many, many platforms. Let's stay connected. Let's continue to celebrate Black voices in all platforms possible. And thank you again for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your open hearts. And I hope that we get to see each other again and celebrate each other's voices another time. So thank you again for being here tonight.
Thank you.